What's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Memphis Dynasty here on NCAA 12, one of the underrated NCAA games that we might have in the Xbox 360 generation. We are here in our third game of the season within season number 5, and we continue non-conference play. And on the surface, this game does not seem very important. We're taking on Utah State on the field, and Utah State is not as good as we are, at least not on paper. There are D pluses across the board, whereas we're C, C plus, C minus, and for the very first time this season, actually, Kirk Herbstreit is going to be rocking with us. But the reason why this game is so important to us, not because it's one of those games where we actually could gain a lot from it from like the on-field perspective. You know, it's only Utah State. They're not that great of a football team, if I'm keeping it honest with you guys. But we do have some very important visits coming up that we really need to hit on if we want to bolster our football team either. And what are those recruiting guys? Well, let's go ahead and check that out real fast. So on the recruiting trail, there are four-star players that we are currently going after as of right now, 3 of which who we're actually trailing. That is Glenn Williams from Brownsville, Tennessee. He's a guard. We also are going after Tristan Clark, who's the number 22nd corner in the country, and the number 7 tight end in Justin Smith. We're going after all of those guys. What those 3 guys have in common, though, is they're all coming in here in week number 5. And, you know, we have a little bit of ground to make up in all of these recruiting battles as of right now. Going up against big-time programs. UCF is an ascending program as well. So, if we want to have any chance of bringing these guys, these big-time players, onto our football team, we really need to come out here, and we really need to put on a show. So, let's see if we can come out here on the football field and do exactly that. Put on that show that we're looking for. Should be a good one regardless. So if you guys are excited for it, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you do happen to be brand new to the channel, let's go ahead and hop right into the action. Let's get it. So let's see if we can go ahead and get the job done against the Utah State Aggies, as we're already facing a third down to start this game, but we're able to get this ball out to Tuvington, and now it's open grass as Tuvington is going to take it down the sideline, and he's going to be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, Tigers! And just like that, we're going to take a 7-0 lead. And this defense certainly came to play today. Got a couple of free and outs to start this one as well. But Utah State, though, they pinned us pretty darn deep inside our own 5-yard line. But we're able to avoid the mistakes of the past couple of weeks. And we're just going to go ahead. We're going to just do a simple draw up the middle. Just run the ball up the middle. No side run stuff. No play action pass. Our coordinators are getting better at that. As Bell will look over to the right-hand side, get it out to D'Angelo Bryden, our new starting tight end. And just like that, we're already across that 45-yard line. We're looking good so far. As on the very next play, Bell will drop back to pass. Looking over the middle of the field, looks for Luke McConnell, and it's going to find Luke McConnell as well. First down for the Memphis Tigers. And Riley Bell, just like that, already has over 100 yards passing. We still have 3 more quarters of football left to play. He's been very good at finding explosive plays downfield and just allowing his guys to make plays like that. Tuvington able to get out on the perimeter yet again. He's not the fastest player on the field, but he knows how to find open space for sure. I love his vision. But now we got a 3rd and 14 coming up here, as it looks like they're going to press. So we're going to go into some quick routes. Looking over the middle of the field. Just going to dump it off to Chase Mitchell, who did check into the game to give to Tuvington a little bit of a breather. And it's well short of first down marker. So Tommy White's going to come out. He's going to attempt this short field goal. It's about 35-yard field goal. And the field goal attempt's going to be good. So we'll take a 10-0 lead here late in the first quarter. And a very good drive there once again. Ended up going nearly the whole length of the field to get those points. So now the Utah State offense is going to come out. They really haven't done anything today, so that's why you haven't seen a Utah State offense highlights. But they do finally get themselves a first down here in this first quarter, dumping it off to the tailback. in order to pick up that first down. However, on the very next play, quarterback's going to drop back the pass. He looks over to the left-hand side, but it's going to be intercepted by Louis Mason, as Louis Mason is going to take it back up the field. Gonna get to the 35-yard line. So our offense is going to be set up extremely beautifully. You love to see that, as our team is playing at its best effort right now, as backup does have to come into the game because Riley Bell did end up getting hurt. So this is Joseph Thompson, our backup quarterback. He's going to step in for a little while and doing a decent job leading the offense downfield, including this throw right here to D'Angelo Bryant, because he was just wide butt naked open. And we'll have a goal line opportunity. We will have our first goal line opportunity of the game. But third and goal, going to try to punch it into the end zone on the ground, but couldn't really find any space with Tufington, so it's going to be 4th and goal. I thought about going forward here, but I love how our defense is playing right now, so we're just going to go ahead, settle for the field goal, take our points, and because we did that, we did end up extending our lead. We will have a 13-0 lead following that interception that we got. But Joseph Thompson still remains in the game, as it seems like Riley Bell did suffer a concussion. So it's going to be the Joseph Thompson show on offense for the remainder of this day. That means we're going to have to ride a little bit more of Tufington. Going to really need this ground game to really show up if we want to continue building this lead against the Utah State Aggies. We also need some plays from our quarterback every once in a while. And Thompson, he's surely going to get one down the perimeter. Jody Gentry gets open on the 4 verticals, and he's just too fast for everybody else on the football field. And that's going to be another touchdown for the Memphis Tigers. We now make it 20-0 here at the Liberty Bowl Stadium. And we even have a chance to add more points onto the board before we get into halftime. And we still have 2 timeouts left to work with. We'll get it out to D'Angelo Bryant, who does pick up yet another first down for us. And we're going to go ahead, go into our no huddle. Again, we have 2 timeouts left, 21 seconds. But I want to see how he handles this. Going with the read option is going to be Tufington, who's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. But there's a flag. There's a flag on the field. And it's going to be a holding penalty on Chris Spence. It would have been a loss anyways, but now it's going to be 1st and 20 instead, as we're going to need Thompson to really come out here. Got to get a big play. And Jody, he might come through, not only with a first down, but he's also going to get a touchdown as well. 2nd touchdown of the day for Jody Gentry. Oh my. Just a beautiful job of just really bringing that defense in on the screen. And that wide receiver screen really did work to absolute perfection there. And sure enough, we're going to take a 27-0 lead into halftime. And now we jump into the second half of action, as we're going to try to run the football a little bit more to Tufington. He'll get the carry, and he is able to go ahead and pick up that first down. Next play, we find ourselves across midfield, as thought about the screen for a second, but then go to a 4 verticals pattern instead, as Thompson drops back the pass. He's looking over the middle of the field, finds Tufington, who does hang on and make that catch for us. And that's another first down for the Tigers. Joseph Thompson's came in the middle of the game cold, but he hasn't missed a single beat so far. He's been balling out, and so has Jody Gentry, who's going to get himself the hat trick. He'll have a hat trick in this ball game, as that is not touchdown number 1, not 2. Oh no, that is going to be touchdown number 3 on the day. Jody Gentry, he's having a breakout performance. And this entire team really is just breaking out and having a great time. Up 34-0 at this point, as we'll throw once again with Joseph Thompson as he finds his tight end, Bryant. D'Angelo Bryant will once again get the Memphis Tigers across midfield, and starting to think about getting the backups into the game at this point because, well, Utah State, they have simply looked outmatched. And this is what happens when our team is actually better on paper than the other team, right? This is the kind of games that we're starting to get. And that really goes to how we're building this program up. We're really starting to get some talented football players into our program. That's going to be a face mask penalty. I would be shocked if that's not a face mask. They will call it, as Luke McConnell was made a victim there by Brad Alford. So we're in red zone once again. Another red zone opportunity for the Memphis Tigers. And good try for this fullback cross screen. Haven't really used it this season or really in this series. Looks like it's going to get blown up, but then somehow Goodwin just makes something out of nothing there and gets another touchdown. Boys, I think this might indeed be our cue to go ahead and sim out here. And that's exactly what we do. We end up getting the backups, all the other backups into the game, and just allow the Super Sim to go to work after that. We end up blowing out Utah State 15-0. So we had our backups in on defense, and even the backups shut them down. They shut them out. Great team effort both ways. Really the perfect game. And I'm so excited if that's what we're going to be capable of doing. Imagine when we get into conference play later on this season. So this was one of those games where Rowie Bell did leave the game early because of a concussion. He was good in his time in the game though, 5 for 9, 142 yards and a touchdown, but Joseph Thompson really had a breakout game. He had 16 for 36, 320 yards, and also threw for 4 touchdown passes, so he did a very fine job of running the offense. As for the ground game, we're still looking for our first 100-yard rusher of the season, and no one got into the end zone, but Tufington was the closest though. He ended up with 14 carries for 72 yards. Chase Mitchell also got a little bit of the work too. As for receivers, though, we do end up with multiple 100-yard receivers. Jody Gentry, well, he simply goes off today. 6 for 141, 3 touchdowns in the game. Tufington had a great day through the air too, 4 for 147, and a touchdown to go with it as well. Also had one more touchdown from the true freshman custom, Jamal Goodwin. He turned nothing into a lot of something. Had a 14-yard touchdown that led to us obviously super simming and getting the backups into the game. And what can I say about this defense? You didn't see much of that defense out there today because it was just shut down. They were pretty, what's the word that I'm looking for? They were pretty fantastic. They were very fundamental in how they handled things. Chase Gentry had 4 tackles, as did the true freshman Nazir Evans. And then also Josh Meadows, Leonidas Mitchell, and Chris Gentry all had multiple tackles as well. The lack of tackles in this game just shows how often that we were not on the field defensively. Part of the reason why we were not on the field for very long was because we forced multiple sacks in this game. Leonidas Mitchell had a breakout performance in particular. He ended up with 2 sacks, while Nazir Evans ended up with a sack himself. We did also get an interception with one of our elder statesmen on the defense, Willie Mason. He turned it for a 14-yard gain, and I think that was the only turnover that we got. Yes, it was. 50-0 ending up being that final score. Really nothing to complain about. We played literally the perfect game in my opinion. Unfortunately for us though, even though Justin Smith had a really great time on our visit to watch that blowout, he still is committing on the bottom line. He's not going to our school though. He is going to one of our conference rivals in the UCF Knights. He's going to be a problem that we will have to deal with for the next 4 to 5 years. So I went ahead and make this a double header, and we're closing out non-conference action, and we're taking on yet another team from the Mountain West. We're actually going to be taking on the San Diego State Aztecs, and they're a little bit better on paper. They're actually like a C+ overall type of team, so they're about the same type of caliber as we are. So should be a little bit more competitive a game if we can ever actually load in. This load screen is actually taking a little bit of time to get up in here, but that being said, I will catch you guys on the field when we're getting ready to actually play this game. Alright boys, so we finally got ourselves on the field, and not South Dakota State, I'm thinking the FCS series, but San Diego State is going to start with the football, and they're going to start by actually having a great opening drive, getting downfield, and the Aztecs are actually going to strike first. They'll get the first points of this game, But Riley Bell, he's going to be on demon time, lead the team down the field. And Chase Mitchell will actually get the handoff. And he got some nice bursts there. Able to make the safety miss in the open field. Heals the last line of defense. And just made him look silly there on that carry. And just like that, this game is going to be all knotted up. As we jump late into the first quarter of action, we'll go ahead and move IT Thomas into motion. And IT, he's going to find his way into the end zone himself. So the jet counter actually works extremely well. Got everybody's eyes on Tuvington. And what does he do? He hands the football off. And we'll take a 14-7 lead into that halftime locker room. We'll have a one-possession lead. But then we jump into that second half of action, still holding on to a 17-10 lead as they'll try to throw it downfield. But look at this play by Nugent. Does a great job sticking with the big body tight end. That's not an easy matchup, but played that perfectly. He was on his hip, and he was able to make a play on that ball. So we're able to turn that into a field goal. Tommy White will go ahead and kick that field goal right through the uprights. So we have a 10-point lead here as we open things up a little bit against San Diego State. But in that fourth quarter of action, do things get a little bit spicy? We're up by 16 at this point still, but we will see San Diego State score a late touchdown. And now, all of a sudden, if they want to go for this two-point conversion, which they absolutely should, by the way, they go for this two-point conversion, they can make this a one-score game. And in these close one-score games this late in the action, you never know what's going to go down. And sure enough, they will actually succeed in getting that two-point conversion. So now it's just an 8-point game. And San Diego State, well, they have a chance here. A long shot, but they do have a chance to tie this game up. Last play of regulation. Able to get outside the pocket, but Gentry is going to chase him down from behind. And we're going to finally put an end to the madness. We're going to go 2-0 in this episode. We win by a final score 26-18. A little bit more of a defensive-minded game versus kind of what we saw against Utah State. Actually had to earn this one just a little bit more. But we do end up finishing non-conference play extremely strong. And Riley Bell was efficient in this game. 20 for 34, 229 yards. It was a solid performance. Not a liquid or gas, but it was a solid little performance there for Riley Bell. But something that I want to continue to work on is getting that running game going. I thought it was better overall today. Chase Mitchell did end up with 87 yards and a touchdown on the ground. We did also witness IT Thomas find the end zone as well. He ended up with 64 yards rushing off of just a few carries. Now, going into the receivers, though, receivers were not too terribly busy today, but we did end up seeing these guys go to work. Luke McConnell led the team in both catches and yards. He had 5 catches for 57 yards, but really beyond that, nothing too terribly noteworthy. But Bill Billiam does get his first career catch, I believe. He got 1 catch for 7 yards, so that's kind of cool to see. Eddie Coolbeans and Luke Nugent led the team in tackles today, 5 solo tackles apiece. But we were able to get to this quarterback quite a few times. Gentry, for example, had that game-winning sack. He was able to get 2 sacks in this one. TJ Cannon also had a sack in this ball game as well. As it was, again, another solid performance for our defense, who is really starting to grow up. I think playing those Power 5 conference games between Virginia and Miami as well, I think that's really going to help us. Because when we take on teams from our conference, I think we're going to be more than ready for our opportunity. So a great way for us to finish the regular season as we finish 2-0 in that episode, 3-1. But as that headline says, the real season begins in the next episode, and this opener, oh boy, it's gonna be a doozy. We go on the road in the next episode for the very first time this entire season. Remember, we were at home the entire season so far. We go on the road and take on an undefeated Cincinnati Bearcat squad, and we all know Nipper Stadium, one of the underrated college football atmospheres around the country. So it's going to be a challenge, man. It is going to be a battle, and I'm so excited to open up with one of the better teams in the conference in the next episode, and I hope you guys are excited for it too. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. If you do happen to be brand new to the channel, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. Hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.